现在
Can
将录
everybody hear
制
me?
本次会议。
Yep, we can, Monique.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Ray was called in for an urgent meeting, so I'm going to be presenting to you guys today on the body-worn cameras. So what is a BWC? So BWC stands for body-worn camera. So it's a wearable audio, video, and photo. Sorry. Isn't supposed to go to this slide, but it's fine. Okay, so it's a device that you can carry on you. It's got a camera, and it can also record video storage locally on the device, and it can also stream video to a centralized system such as a POC platform, and this video can then be used for video surveillance or video evidence. Let's say, for example, if there was an incident and you want to retrieve the information for post-analysis, you can also then retrieve video as well. So just some things to know about the body-worn camera. So what's been noted on a global level is that people that wear body-worn cameras, crime is decreased by 30%. And the reason being is that if, let's say, a criminal is doing a activity and they realize that they are being recorded on a video device, automatically their behavior changes because they know that they're being recorded on video. So it's a very positive device to have, especially to reduce crime. So yeah, so that's one of the benefits. Also, let's say if there was a incident where you know, something happened, there's also then going to be video footage. You guys would notice recently a lot of the things that are happening overseas are videos that are being captured by consumers and then uploaded to the public network. Whereas if a police officer had to wear his own body-worn camera, he would also have video footage, because in most cases the public safety would investigate the videos that they would get from consumers, because they do not have their own video equipment to make video recordings. So this is also something that's very useful for public safety or even for security companies. And then also there's also a reduction in the amount of force that you need, because you would have less people needing to have their eyes on the ground, because the body-worn cameras would also then be recording the you know, what's happening in front of the officers. And then also when, let's say, there's an incident that happened, because it was recorded on video, it's much more easier also to you know, to capture a criminal or to be able to have evidence in court for that person to be able to go to jail if they offended or made a you know, did a crime. Okay, so these are just some of the benefits of body-worn cameras. Okay. So I'm going to go through the different models and then also explain some of the key features of each model. So so we've got a VM580, there's a VM780. We also have a VM580D, which I've got here with me. It's a very compact device. I think it weighs like 180 grams, so it's very lightweight. You can strap it to your body and it won't affect you at all, which is this one here. And then we also have a VM750D. This is a customizable option in the way that you can choose what type of camera you want on it. You can also select, you know, what storage you want on it as well. So there's a lot of customization in this model. And then the VM780, which I've also got here, it's the top of the range one. This has got a rotatable camera, so you can also, depending on how you're going to carry it, you can also then adjust the camera to which direction you want the video to be recorded. You can also wear it other way around, where the screen is not facing the person and then the camera is only facing. Normally you would try and carry it like this, because you also want the people that you interact with to see that they are being recorded, especially immediately when a person sees themselves on a display being recorded, they automatically know, you know, there's evidence of whatever they're going to be saying next. So this is also a nice feature on this VM780. Okay, so just some some information on it. So it's got a 360-degree rotatable camera. So like I showed previously, this camera can rotate, allowing you to adjust the angle that you want to record. It also supports AES 256-bit encryption, so it means the data that's on the device itself is encrypted. So if, let's say, this device gets stolen and ends up going to the wrong people, they cannot retrieve the information off the device. It also has the option for you to be able to lock down certain functions. So the user can't delete videos from here. They have to know the passcode, or you can remove that menu entirely from the user. So the only thing they can do is they can switch it on and they can manually press the record if they want to record something. So you have full control over the device and the information that's on the device, so that it doesn't end up in the wrong, goes to the wrong people. You'll also see it's got dual speakers, so it's got a 1.5 speaker times 2. So it's got a speaker on the front, on this back end, and also here on the front. So it has a very powerful sound as well that comes from the device. You'll see with the battery, sorry. So you'll see with the battery, it's 152 grams is what it weighs. Sorry, I've got the wrong model here. So the VM580, I mean, sorry. So the VM580, which is the slim line, so it's 152 grams, including the battery. It's got a 3000 milliamp battery. It also supports what we call hot standby. So let's say if the device is on and you want to remove the battery, it's got an internal 60 milliamp battery, so it can stay on for about 5 minutes while you're exchanging the batteries with a new battery. It's also IP68 and it's military standard, and it can be dropped up to 2 meters, so it's drop proof as well. Okay, so if we look at the specifications on the VM580, you'll see that it's got a built-in 16 megapixel camera. It can record at full HD at 30 frames per second, and also you'll see there's a storage option for, you get from entry level 16 gigabytes and you can go up to 128 gigabytes. It's got a 3000 milliamp battery, and it also has a touch screen as well, so you can interact with the screen by touching it. It also has a 1-watt speaker. It's got built-in GPS, and like I mentioned before, it's IP68. Also, I want to mention is it's an Android operating system that's running this device. You can also use this device as a POC terminal, meaning you can install your PTT application on here, and you can also use it as a PTT device, and it can also be a body-worn camera. So it's a 2-in-1 device. And like I said before, it's got built-in GPS, so you can also track the device. And then also when, let's say, if you offload the video that's on here, it will also have GPS locations with the video information. So you can also see where the video was captured. Is there any questions anyone has so far? Sorry, am I going too fast?
Yeah, hi there, Franco, how's it going?
Yes. Good, and yourself?
Cool. Cool, man. So just with regards to this 580D and what you said about the separate battery and stuff, is there a charger specific that has a cradle where you can just drop a battery into to be charged separately? I know, like the other POC terminals, like the PNC 370s, you have to buy the 6-way bank charger in order to get that functionality of a separate
Yeah, so if I remove the battery from the actual camera, you'll see it's got pins here. So you wait, let me just get to my camera. So you see it's got pins here. So in the multi-bank charger, you can have a battery on charge while there's a battery inside the actual body-worn camera, and then because it's got its own internal battery, it's hot swappable. So the device will stay on while you're removing the battery, and you have 5 minutes to put a new battery into it before the device will switch off on itself. So yeah, it does support micro USB charging as well, but you can also get a multi-bank charger where you can then dock it into a charger itself, and then it will charge. And normally when you sell this type of solution, you will also sell the multi-bank charger, because the multi-bank charger itself has a USB connection on the side, which then can connect to a computer where you would then offload the video content that's on the device onto the IDS software, which I'll also get to now. But you can charge it using a normal micro USB, or you can buy the multi-bank charger and then it can dock into it, and then it will charge the device while it's busy offloading the video content that's on the device itself. So you'll see
Right,
if I maybe.
If I can, so it only the multi-bank charger will charge the battery separately. They don't get standalone. So like if you're on a remote site where there's, let's say, internet access or Wi-Fi that the device can upload to the cloud via Wi-Fi, but you want to charge the battery separately on site. There isn't a charger like that.
Yes, sorry to interject. There is unfortunately no single cradle available for the body-worn cameras. It's either the charge cable, as Franco's mentioned, or the multi-bank charger.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. So you'll see if you look at the bottom here, there's a micro USB input here where you plug the cable in. I don't know if you guys can see it clearly there. But it's also got charging points on the sides, on both sides. So when it gets docked into the docking station, it will then charge the device. But you can also just charge the battery on its own, and then use the device with another battery, and then it's hot swappable, and the device will stay on for at least 5 minutes because it's got its own internal battery as well, which is a small 60 milliamp battery. But you, like Ray was mentioning, you don't get a single charging dock for it. You only have the option for a 6-bank multi-charger, and that can then connect to the software with a USB interface, and then the data from the cameras can then be offloaded to the cloud or wherever you want to store the information. Okay.
Cool. And then, so just two more questions, if I can, on this radio.
Yes, of course.
You were saying about the about this camera, body-worn camera. The resolution, is it adjustable or is it fixed at 180p?
It is adjustable. Sorry, Frank. I'm answering. It is adjustable. You can do it in the programming side of the depict if it wants to be 1080p or a lower fidelity. You can change that. Yes.
Yeah, I think you can go as low as 480p.
Okay.
I see there's a question from.
You could do like a 720. The 720p, that's an option if you want.
Yes.
Let's say you went for the 32 gig storage, but you wanted to get more video out of it. It's still relatively 720p would still work then.
Yes, you have the option for 720. It will also increase your battery performance of the device if you go a lower fidelity anyway. So it can be done that way. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
I see there's a question from Hein saying, do you get software to monitor the radio and GPS? And can you print a report? Yeah, we do have software. So there's multiple ways. We have what we call POC 3000, which is our PTT platform. You can have a SIM card in the device. It can have the POC 3000 application on. It can then be used to monitor, to track all that. And then we also have another one, which is called Smart Eye, which is purely mostly video. And then it also can do group calls. And then we also have what we call POC 6000, which is the PTT platform that can connect to Smart One, which will give you unified communication between narrowband and PTT. And then we also have what we call MCS, which is mission critical PTT. This is where we would then deploy it in the core of the GSM network operator. And then there's a quality of service on the PTT services over the network, which gives you more mission critical type of experience versus a normal PTT, which is a best effort type of system. Okay, so let me go on. Okay, so this is the VM580D. So you can see it's compact. It supports 3G, 4G, LTE. It's also got built-in Wi-Fi, so you can connect it to a Wi-Fi network as well. So typically, where let's say in a shopping center where there's no cell phone signal, but there's Wi-Fi access points, you can use the Wi-Fi as well to connect it to the internet for it to have access to a PTT platform, or if you want to do live streaming from the device to see what's actually going on as it's happening live. Okay. Then the comparison between the VM780 and the VM750. So like I mentioned before, The 780 has a rotatable camera at the top. It can also record at full HD 30 frames per second. It's got dual speakers, and it's got a 3,500 milliamp battery. Just note that this doesn't have its own built-in battery. So when you remove the battery from the device, it will switch off, and then only when you replace the battery, you can then switch it on again. It doesn't have the standby like you have from the VM580. And this is comparing to the VM 750. You'll see on the VM 750 you have you've got options of what type of camera you want or lens you want to use on it. So you have like a Starlight night vision camera, or you've got the 160 ultra view lens, and then it also has electronic image stabilization as well. So if you're running and the video is recording, it will also help with the blurring and motion as the person is recording video while they're moving. It also has man down alarm in the 750, which is an option that you can use, and you can also disabling alarm. So if you try and disable certain things, it will then also prevent you from doing it. It also has dual batteries, so the 750 also has its own built-in battery, and then also a main battery, which is a 3,500 milliamp battery. And then it also has a accessory connector on the side, which you can then use with a cable to connect it to a radio. Then it becomes a microphone speaker as well as a body-worn camera. So that's just the difference between those two models. Here's just some illustration between the different types of generations of cameras. So previously it would be electronic image stabilization, and then at some point the technology evolved to have optical image stabilization, and then on the latest ones is got gimbal image stabilization. So that's just for so the first gen, what they would normally do is they'll record the full video, but the frame will be cut on the sides to stabilize the image. The second was where the actual lens inside the camera would counteract to reduce the vibration for the lens to be more stable. And now with the latest, it will support same as the second gen, but also with software. So it's multi. So this just reduces the image blurring and all that when the camera is moving while it's recording.
Just to add what Franco is mentioning here with regards to stabilization generation, is that you have the option to either pick between one of the three. Our gimbal solution in terms of our body-worn cameras are to be launched towards Q4 of this year for some of the devices. So when it comes to ordering and placement of these specific devices, make sure that you order the specific device for the function of your specific end user customer. It might not need a gimbal solution, it might only need stabilization on a software level. So those are the options given to you.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Yeah, so this just also illustrates the gimbal. So you'll see here on the left here, there's the camera itself is also moving around to reduce the motion, the blurriness on the video itself. Okay. So here's an example. I just want to see if I can play it quickly. Sorry, I just need to move this out of the way. You'll see the differences between having a nimble and without. So you'll see on the right, there's a guy standing, the face is more clear, where on the other side it was more blurry. Let me just play it again. So if you look at this spot here where the guy is standing, you'll see a lot of blur on the person's face. So it's very difficult to see where that's more clear on that side. So this is where it becomes handy, especially if you're chasing someone, and there's information that you can see on the camera. If there's blurriness, it's going to be difficult for you to see. So this also just again shows you, see the blurriness here as the guy's moving, where this is much more clear, and you can actually see more details here, where this is very much blurred. You can't really see what this is, where here you can see it looks like some trophies or something here. Okay.
You can also in this image also notice the difference that the first image without stabilization, it seems like a human figure, but then actually on the right hand side you'll see it as actually a woman. And that is the difference. You can actually make out agenda from these sort of things as well, which is an important description in perpetrators, specifically in this environment.
That's true. Thanks. Okay, and also it's got what we have, the night vision, which is starlight vision. So you'll see the differences between on the left here without and with. So here you can see nothing. It's totally dark black. Where here you've got some, you can see at least there's something written here. Where in this image here you can't see any of that. So this is also you know, handy, especially in dark environments where a person needs to go into a dark room or storage or somewhere where they need to look for someone. The people that will monitor the video remotely will be able to see what's going on in the dark. Okay. Okay, so like I mentioned before, the VM750D, you have two options. So you can have option 1, which has got the ultra wide lens, or option 2, which has got the Sony Starvis lens, which has got the starlight night vision as well. So if the customer is not going to need night vision, but he wants ultra view, he would go for option 1, or if he needs night vision, he would go for option 2. So this is fully customizable. When you order the actual device, you can then specify which lens you want with the device. Okay. Okay, and then just some internal, some smart modules, because it's runs Android OS, so it can support other applications as well. You also have the image stabilization, a man-down alarm that can work with the device. So if it's tilted at the specific angle that you've configured it, and it's kept there and the person doesn't correct it, it can send out an emergency, similar to like what we have on radios, which has got the man-down function. If a person tripped and fell and got hurt, the radio can act as a backup for an emergency to be sent. It also has a light sensor. So if, let's say, the person is trying to hide evidence and they put their hands in front of the camera, it can also then notify the dispatcher that the person is obstructing the view of the lens. So this is also something that is a nice function. Let's say if there was a corrupt police officer and he was holding his hand in front of the camera to hide some evidence, it will be detected, and the dispatching can also then immediately communicate to the guy to say, why are you putting your hand in front of the lens, or something's obstructing the lens for it to have visibility to what's in front of it. So this is also a feature that's integrated in the VM580, 750, I mean, sorry. Okay, and then it's got its own internal backup battery, like I mentioned before, which can give you about 5 minutes. So when you need to hot swap the batteries, the device will stay on. It won't switch off for that 5 minutes while you're exchanging the batteries. And then also it's got internal navigation, meaning you can also, because it's Android, you can have applications on here. You can also prohibit the user from erasing specific data, or you can even have it that if something goes wrong, if the person presses the panic or emergency on it, it can also erase the data of the device. So all of that is also options that you can configure on the device itself. On the radios, we also have it where if, let's say, you press the emergency or dedicate a specific button on the device, if you press it, it will erase all the information of the radios. Okay, so also just some specification on the VM750D. So you'll see also it has a 60 megapixel camera, full HD 30 frames per second. Okay, it's got optional camera options that you have. Storage also 16 gig to 128 gig. It's got a 3500 milliamp battery, and then it's got a 2.8 inch touch display, 2-watt speaker, and then it can also be used as a microphone with a wire, with a cable that you connect between the body-worn camera and the radio, and it becomes a speaker microphone as well. It's got built-in Bluetooth, so you can pair Bluetooth accessories to it. It also has NFC, so you can do RFID tags. GPS, it can do 3G, 4G, it has encryption, and it's IP68. Okay, These are just some of the accessory options. So you'll see there's an earpiece accessory that you can connect to it via the USB port at the bottom of the device. It also has Bluetooth options, which is coming soon. I think some of these should be released by now. I can confirm. And then also we've got some carrying straps and Bluetooth PTT. So this accessory is already available. It's being used on some of the DMR radios that have Bluetooth. And then also you can have this external camera as well. I haven't seen this yet, but I think it's also going to be releasing soon. And then you have the chargers here. So you also get a single charger for the VM580, VM750, but for the VM580, this option is not available. You only have the multi-bank option, which is what Carl asked earlier. Okay, just some comparison between the different body-worn cameras we have. So you have from your entry level on this end all the way to your top tier, which is your VM780 or your VM550. The only difference between these two is this: you have customization options of what lens you want to take with the device. Okay, and you'll see Android, all of them. I think actually they're running Android version 8 now. Okay. So I just need to check the time because I also have to give over to Ray at some point. And then we also have the software which is called Hytera Site, which is the dispatching software where you can then see live videos from the actual body cams, and it also will record the information on this platform. And you also have the capabilities to do group call PTT as well from the devices to have group communications. Because the cameras have 16 megapixel cameras on them, you can also introduce third-party applications such as facial recognition software. So when the video is being recorded here, you can stream it to a server where there can be AI introduced to it, which can then analyze the video for you to have, like in this case, you can have facial recognition, you can have number plate recognition. So there's multiple applications that can be used with these body-worn cameras. For example, let's say a good example would be, let's say, a Metro police officer is standing next to the road. They've got a roadblock. Instead of him manually have to check the registration details on their database, they could use a body-worn camera that can use number plate recognition. This can interrogate a database. If that person's license disc has expired, it can automatically trigger an alarm on the device, and the person then can pull over the car and then issue a fine if the person hasn't renewed their driver's the license disc on the vehicle. So there's a lot of applications for these body-worn cameras. Here's also just an example where some facial recognition was used from the body-worn camera. So there's two individuals on the video here, and it then shows the matches. So there's a 90.24% match for this guy to this person, for example. All right. So here just also again shows facial recognition, how it can be used. Ray, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to add something, ladies and gentlemen, with regards to facial recognition in South Africa. It is not really that applicable at this stage due to the fact that facial recognition software is giving a large percentage of false positives on dark-skinned individuals. So it is not really a technology that will be adopted until that has been resolved in our sort of areas. So what we are mentioning here is that yes, our devices are compatible with third-party applications such as facial recognition. Just bear in mind that facial recognition is not of the standard to be actually utilized in South Africa at this point in time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this, if we were to use the body-worn cameras just to record video and use it for post-analysis, so we have what we call IDS, which is the integrated device station. This is the software that retrieves the information off the cameras and stores it in a central location. And then we also have software which is called DEM, which is the digital evidence management software. You do not need to have the DEM in order for you to be able to have information recorded. You could also only use the IDS. The DEM is for more advanced type of customers where they want to also have analytics and have more information, where the IDS will cater for most security companies or most customers that just want to have a backup of the recording, so that if there was an incident, they can go and retrieve the video information. The IDS has more capabilities for you to be able to search multiple devices and bring multiple views of a specific incident or time frame into a single window, where this year the IDS is more manual type of process. Even though you can dock your body-worn camera into the multi-bank charger, it will automatically offload and timestamp and record all the information on a external storage. But if you want some intelligence as well, the digital evidence management software is the option. And also there's a quite a big cost difference between this and that. We also have what we call a data collection box, which is purely used for you to collect data from the body-worn cameras and can push it to the MDM servers. Or we could use the IDS, which is a normal desktop PC, where you can connect up to 30 body-worn cameras to download information at a single point in time. So you'll see, if you look at the information on the right-hand side, this shows you the transmission speed of the data being transferred from the device to the software. So let's say if it was a 29 gigabyte recording that you've got stored on the body-worn camera, it can take you about 24 minutes to offload this 29 gigabytes onto the IDS software. You'll see the more cameras you connect, the more data is going to obviously need to be transferred, and also you'll see this is the transfer speeds where the data is being taken from the device and stored onto the IDS software. Okay.
Just to add, Franco, sorry, Franco,
yeah,
just quickly go back. This digital evidence management is obviously the solution that comes with the body-worn camera, what I would refer to as offline or passive recording, whereas this is not necessarily streaming data. You just plug your device into your data collection, and then from there you have the capability of it will be timestamped, it will be registered to a specific ID, and from there you can either share the information, cut the picture so that you don't have to submit the entire video footage of 8 hours, but only the snippet that's important for whatever case scenario. And then obviously the speeds, how quick. You'll notice that how quickly this data transfer can happen, making it very efficient for charging and uploading during shifts. So this is what we refer to as an offline recording functionality. And this can be run in parallel by using it as a POC device as well.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Right, so just it's a web interface. So this just illustrates what the users would see on the actual software when they're using it. So you'll see on the left-hand side, it's got, this is the client that logs into the actual server, and then they can from here look for specific. It will give you status of how much storage is left, how much is being used. I think you can also, I'm not too familiar, but I think you can also set how long it needs to keep the data before it will start deleting information. Because it's video data, you need a lot of storage for you to be able to record and keep storage of these recordings. But you can also, I think you can set it to how long it needs to keep it before it will start deleting information. So let's say if you only want to keep a week's worth of information, after 1 week it will start deleting videos that are older than a week. Ray can maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's fine.
Okay, and then it's also, if you use the iSight, which is map-based featured, you can also have live tracking of where the actual body-worn camera is, and you can also have a live video feed coming from the actual device. So I'll play this video here, so you'll see here it shows the actual live feed as the person is moving on the map. Okay. And then here's just some case references where we've deployed it before. So you can see public safety is mostly where this would be applied to. I think also a lot of security companies are starting to look into body-worn cameras. I think especially like your cash and transit, those type of customers, they would also benefit from using body-worn cameras because it can also have information collected. If let's say there was an incident for post-analysis, it's always good to have not just audio but also video surveillance of what actually happened. Okay. So you'll see again body worn camera on a law enforcement officer. He walks around, he sees people, and all of this is being recorded and then can be used. Because it's got a high capacity battery, you can get typically about 9 hours worth of recording at a single point from a device. I think Ray did do some testing before with the VM580. Ray, can you remember how long the battery lasted?
Yes, sorry. Okay, so to take over, yes, we've done some testing. The battery actually, depending on the operation you use, was between 8 and 10 hours, depending on what functionality you use. For example, if you're using a higher fidelity recording as well as Bluetooth interface to a existing party, then the operational hour dropped to 8 hours or a little bit less. But the less functionality used and just used as passive recording, we got up to 11 hours of recording at 1080p. So it depends on the utilization, but yes, we did do some field testing with regards to these devices, and they perform as indicated.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I was going to leave just now, so okay, it's got tamper proof. Like I explained before, if the person puts their hands in front of the lens, it will then also send an alarm if they've got a dispatching as well running in the background, monitoring their devices. Okay, so public safety is a customer where we've implemented it back in 2018. So they bought the VM780 with Smart Eye, which is the live video streaming and group call PTT platform. Here's also where we've deployed it in the railway police, also with the VM780. This was also in December 2018. And then also for electronic power companies. So let's say there was a technician busy doing maintenance and he's got a body worn camera on him, and let's say he needs assistance from an engineer. The engineer can also see the remote video streaming from the body worn camera and advise the technician what they need to do.
Just to reiterate here, Franco, I believe you need to go. I can take over if you like.
Okay.
I believe you're on the end of the slides. Just to reiterate the functionality of this body worn camera in terms of this scenario, and also what we refer to as increasing efficiency. We've experienced in some sort of technical fields where the senior technician or engineer doesn't necessarily have the time to reach all of the sites. So having a body worn camera that can stream live footage to that specific scenario to the engineer that's in office, he'd be able to assist multiple field technicians in that scenario, which has also increased the popularity of having body-worn cameras. That being said, we also recently utilized our body-worn cameras with a third-party sort of DVR server over a broadband connection, as this specific customer that we've launched this device with wanted to use our body-worn cameras purely as sort of like a CCTV footage, but also already invested into his existing sort of video analytics server. And it worked seamlessly. We installed the app and we started streaming the device. So our body-worn cameras can also be used essentially as, let's call it mobile CCTV footage in any sort of environment as well, which then increases the flexibility of our specific devices. Is there any other questions that I can assist with regards to our body-worn camera solution that you guys want to know? I can also arrange for this presentation to be shared to you guys as well. But I believe Franco has covered majority of the presentation. Is there any additional questions? Do you guys, if there's no other questions, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys see this as a viable solution within your industry? Is it something that you guys would consider presenting to your specific customers? Anybody? Oh, Hein says yes, he can do it, no problem. Okay. Yes, there is a big demand in the Western Cape. I agree, Jonathan. Definitely, if you want to give me your scenario, I can definitely assist. Alternatively, if you want my specific assistance in presenting a solution to your said customer, just make a booking with me and I can assist you remotely if I'm in Cape Town at that point in time, I can also assist. Our body-worn camera solutions are extremely flexible. They can be used as online live streaming. They can be used as a POC device, and of course the passive recording that can be evidence lock. One thing I don't know if Franco has mentioned that the device comes with various firmware formats, so you can't have the device being a live streaming sort of CCTV footage camera as well as a POC device. You can have either or. So depending on the configuration that you want to deploy is what you want to use your body-worn camera for. It can either be as a POC solution with passive recording, or it can be live streaming and then passive recording as well. Those are the options that you can. All right. Anything else?
Ray, John here.
Yes.
Quick, and maybe I missed this session here, or that quick part. The VM580D, will that be available, the new one, on the POC 3000? Currently, it's not compatible. Will that be available?
On the POC 3000, not with the POC 3000, maybe on the POC 6000.
Okay.
Yeah, that specific one not. But what I have tested for the POC 3000 is the 780. It's working perfectly, as well as I think it's the 5. What is it? Yeah, the 580D, I think. Let me just check my specs here. But
No,
I have
exactly.
tested 2 of them. They're working perfectly as a POC terminal. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Ray. I might have missed it earlier when Franco was presenting. But was there any sort of given time frame for when we can expect the 750D to be arriving?
750D is, in actual fact, it's available Q4. So yeah, you should be able to receive it pretty much now, or maybe in a month from now. It will be available. Is there any specific reason that specific model is spoken to you? Is there a functionality that you might see to be utilized?
Honestly, so when I mentioned it earlier about the standalone desktop charger, the individual, I see the 750D comes out with that. So for a site where you want to give it to a security guard to be able to swap batteries on different shifts, it's very convenient than having to have somebody collect the device, take it all the way to be dropped off. I mean, you could put a data collection box on site type of thing, which could store the data for, let's say, a week, and then be taken over to that box and taken over to a place where there's an IDS and plugged in, and then all the data removed. That's sort of why I was thinking about having the standalone chargers on a remote site where there's just, let's say, one guard at an entry point.
Okay, but do you want the okay? So I'm just thinking that scenario. So do you want the guard there to have the capability of uploading the footage at that specific guard point? Is there not going to be sort of like a security room where there's multi-charges, multiple body-worn cameras? I'm just trying to figure out where that really be that effective to have a single cradle to do the uploading, because then obviously if there's multiple people using one, it will be slow in terms of data upload. And if the storage is full in the body-worn camera, then it won't be able to record more, right?
Yeah, correct. So I've got a client that has got sites all around the Western Cape where there's just a single person that's there, a single guard on site. And they've been looking at body-worn cameras so that they can monitor things like, are there guards actually doing the patrols that need to be done? You know,
Yeah.
are they? So that's sort of the idea behind it. And as you said, with the battery life capacity being 8 to 10 or 11 hours, if that camera needs to run 24 hours passively, then it would make sense to be able to pull the battery out, drop it in a charger when it goes flat, plug the new one in.
Yeah, but what about the storage issue? If you're going to record for 24 hours non-stop, you're going to run out of storage very quickly. Even if you're running 128 gigabytes, in terms of that, it's going to fill up relatively quickly in that regard. You can have an extra battery, a spare battery that can just be interswappable type of scenario as well, apart from a cradle. I'm just worried about the storage aspect for 24 hours and that specific solution or that requirement. You might run out of space.
Cool. Noted. Thank you very much, Ray.
All right. Just to add on that, I would say maybe reduce the fidelity even more. Maybe 480. 480p is still effective enough to make out if the person is male or female, or some basic facial features and stuff like that, or even read a number plate. So if you reduce the fidelity, then obviously your storage obviously is immediately more, and of course your battery consumption then goes a little bit better as well. So there is options and flexibility with our body-worn cameras on how it can be used specifically. Any other scenarios or questions that you guys like me to assist with at this point in time? Other than that, if there isn't any more, we can conclude for today. And then I will make sure that this presentation is shared to you guys. And then, yes, then we are done for today. Okay, no further questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time for today. I hope it was informative. And like I said before, if you guys want to engage with us directly for customers, please don't hesitate to do so. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thanks, Ray.